Hello, hello, good morning. Actually, good afternoon. It is 12 o'clock on the dot. I thought it was going to be a little early, but it looks like I'm not early. I am really glad to be here with you all today. I have not done a live in so long I can't even remember. I used to do them regularly, and then I don't know. I don't know. Life got in the way. As you know, I had a mom that was really ill, who passed away about a month ago, so I haven't had a chance to pop on here for some months. But I am here. Hello, hello. So I will wave at you all as you all have time to jump on with me. But I'm glad to talk with you today. Today I wanted to talk about a topic that's actually been on my heart for months. As you jump in, say hi. I'm glad you all joined me. I have known that I have had ADHD for about 2 years. And I've always kind of suspected it, but I really took my time in order to come out and talk about it publicly. I've kind of mentioned it in some posts before, but I did not talk about it because thank you so much. These are Target, of course, Circle Boutique. I think they're the Bobble Bar knockoff there, Sugar Fix or something like that. Anyways, so see, ADHD, jump to another subject. But one of the reasons why I stalled about talking about this, you all, because guess what my highest watched video is on YouTube? I did one about 3 years ago about my life on Lexapro. Lexapro is an SSRI for depression. And about three years ago when we moved to Dallas, George, we move quite often with his job. He always goes ahead of me, so I'm kind of responsible for staging and packing the 4 kids and whatever. It was extremely stressful. I got a really bad virus, and I have Meniere's disease, and if you all know, it's a imbalance of the inner ear, and it caused horrendous vertigo. Plus, I had all this exergonic stuff, and when you have an exergonic depression, it's just kind of like, your mom dies, you're going through really stressful divorce, something like that. And then you get depression because of something you're going through. I didn't really feel depressed then. I was just extremely anxious. The vertigo, it was horrible. I changed the way my vision was. It was hard for me to drive to the school. And so there's some thought that anxiety causes exacerbation of, stuff that happens with your inner ear and whatever. Hey, Hiller, how are you? It's good to see you. So 3 years ago, I did this video, and I just wanted to tell moms it's okay that if you have to take something, if you're going through something in your life, oh, thank you so much. I just did it for once since I was jumping on here today. But if you have to take something, if you have to see someone or go talk to a counselor, I wanted people to know that please do it. There is so much stigma, especially when you're already super anxious about taking medications for anxiety. It's like your anxiety doesn't want you to, it's like what about the side effects? And what if I get trapped on this? And what if I, can't stop taking it? That you won't take the medications that can actually improve the quality of your life immensely. So I did that video, and I didn't want to come back 3 years later and say, I'm not taking that anymore. Because I still want people to know who are having a general anxiety disorder that please get in touch with your doctor and stop watching these YouTube videos that'll say, I started taking it, all my hair fell out and I gained 450 pounds. That did not happen for me. It doesn't happen for a lot of people, but people to know they have options, So if you know me personally, I am all about natural options. I try everything natural first. I'm a aromatherapist. Along with being an RN, I do a ton of research. I like to take all natural supplements, omega-3s, and I tried all this stuff for anxiety. It wasn't, hello, everybody say hi as you jump on. It wasn't as effective as me taking medications, and I had to just come with that realization that I needed to take something. So about a year into me taking the medication for anxiety, Lexapro is used like an off-label uses for general anxiety disorder, along with people take it for depression. I just was so flat, you guys. I would be so unmotivated. I couldn't get off the couch. I couldn't do anything. And I'm super industrious. If you follow me, you know that I'm always... I'm going to read all your comments in a minute. You all guys keep commenting, but I'll come back to it every few seconds because I'll get so sidetracked. But I See, like now I have no idea what I'm saying. But anyways, you know, if you, I have no idea what I'm saying. I'm like so not kidding. Okay. So anyways, so, oh yeah, I was saying I was so flat. So I was really flat taking that medication, and I went to him and I was having problems really bad, which I always have had with paying attention. And so here's the things that I noticed about myself. You could be having a conversation with me. My husband will ask me a question, or I can even ask him a question, you guys. And 2 seconds later, I would get up and walk out. And he'd be like, I'm telling you the answer to this question. Like, dude, you just asked me a question. You walked out. And so I was like, this is not normal. Like literally my brain, after asking that question and even before I heard anything, was off to something else. I literally feel like I have 20 computers open at the same time, all the time. I could be driving. I literally daydream drive. I drive to my daughter's school. I'm cognizant of, you know, where I am or whatever, but I'm constantly daydreaming. The kids will be calling my name 20 times in the back, and I'm literally thinking, got to go to the store, got to pick up eggs, make sure I do the mailers. Oh, I got to call Mom. I mean, literally like 50 things are going on at one time. And the problem that I was having is the execution of stuff. I can come up with a million ideas, really, really creative, but staying on task for me would be a scenario like this. Pick up the phone. Hi, yes, hold on a minute, the eggs are burning. Go turn the eggs down on the stove, still boiling. Come back, talk on the phone. Yes, you know, give somebody an answer, just a minute. Walk to the room, go put laundry in, forget to start the laundry. Oh, because the eggs are still on the stove, go back to this, you know, forget. The water would boil out. The eggs would yeah, see, you know what I'm talking about. The eggs would be completely boiled out and burnt out because I wouldn't be paying attention, because I started folding laundry that I took out of the dryer, forgot that I was on the phone, put the phone down, literally forgot, you guys. The phone would be down. The person would hang up. I'd have to call and say, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I can't remember anything. I mean, literally, like you could tell me and here's the thing. I'm really good at like, I call it multitasking, but it's really not. Okay. So my husband will say, did you do such and such? And I'll say, I'll acknowledge him. But because I'm not paying attention, I really don't know what he said. And I really wouldn't care, because my mind would be thinking, oh, let me let the dogs out. I got to pay literally like a million things going on at the same time. And the problem was when I started taking that other medication, I was just so flat. I never got into, you know, the hyperactive part of me, which is the place where you always see I'm very industrious. I'm always kind of doing something, always super busy. I just couldn't accomplish anything. And I said, something's wrong with this, but I'm also like always daydreaming, like can't remember how I got to the car to get to my kids to the school, whatever. And I had been taking such a low dose, only 5 milligrams, which is not therapeutic. He was like, just stop taking that. Let's do the diagnostic for ADHD. And I have a long history, you guys. Like, even as a child in school, something notorious about people who have ADHD is you can hyper focus on something. So if you really, really like it, or you may see this in your kids, they really like to play Legos. Will fixate and focus on playing Legos. But when it comes down to doing math and they have no interest, it's like doing flips in the chair, kicking their feet in the air. It's a constant struggle. It was like that with me from the very beginning. I was a crappy student unless I really liked it. If it was science, I was hyper-focused. Oh yeah, I had all the answers. I did it very well. If it was English, nope. I did the bare minimum only to make it through, and I wouldn't focus at all, okay? It was like that in college until I got to nursing school. Nursing school, I hyper-focused because I had a passion for it. If I'm passionate about it, I could research it all day long for days and days and years on end. I still am like that about any medical information. I will sit and read journals. I will sit and read research articles. It's like that with aromatherapy. I study those oils, you guys, night and day. I don't have any problems hyper-focusing on that. But if you ask me to keep cleaning up the house, oh my God. Oh, it takes me so long to do things that I'm not interested to do. So I just want to read you, this is the definition of ADHD if you're unfamiliar. There's several, you find several different, you'd have to go to, what do they call it, DSM-IV, well, I don't even know what it is now, but this is one of them. And some of the symptoms include difficulty concentrating, keeping organized, impulsivity, and for some hyperactivity, okay? I tend to be a combo. I can be very, they have a type that's in a tune where I'm just not listening or not paying attention, or hyperactive. Some people can be either or. Some children can be either or you can be a combo. I'm a combo. Sometimes I'm extremely hyperactive and I'll get an idea in my head and I just can't sit down. Sometimes I can't even sit down to watch the TV with my husband. Like, we'll watch a show and he'll be like, come watch the show with me. And 30 minutes later, I'm up and he's like, where are you going? Oh, I just got to put some laundry in. It's covered. I totally lost interest in it. I'm totally done. So hello for all of you all that are joining now. So let me just give you some questions. This is one diagnostic tool, and I'll give you, these were some of the questions that when I went to the doctor, he said, I want you to take this test, and I did it with him, and literally every single one, like, I don't know what the scale was, but I was like off the Richter scale. So like one of the questions is, how often do you have difficulty sustaining your attention while doing something for work, school, a hobby, or fun activity? Example, remaining focused during lectures, me. First 5 seconds. If I'm not interested, totally, I don't know what you're talking about, like the whole time. Lengthy reading or conversations, I don't read. You know how I read? I put on Audible and listen to it, but I can't listen to Audible in regular speed. I have to listen to Audible in 1.5 times. So it goes really fast and I'll pay attention to it. If it's normal speed, oh my God, I literally it'll be a great book. 1 minute into it, I'm like, oh, look at the squirrel out there. Let me go, oh, that window's dirty. I'm going to wash some dish. I don't know what you're talking about. YouTube, yeah, it's terrible. Reading a book, same thing. First chapter in it, I'm already thinking about, I got Bible study tomorrow. Let me call somebody. Let me do the, it's terrible. Number 2, how often are you easily distracted by external stimuli, like something in your environment or unrelated thoughts? Number 3, how do you avoid or dislike or are reluctant to engage in tasks that require sustained mental effort or thought? That's a big one for me. So example, like doing math problems or doing something, if it's not something that I'm going to hyper focus on, it's really hard for me to sit down. Like, for example, right now I'm renewing one of my nursing license in Georgia. And I have to do the CEUs. I could really care less because it's, I don't know, it's just not something that interests me. Unless it's one of the articles I read and I'm really like, oh, I'm really interested in learning about Turner syndrome or something like that. So for me, sitting down to do it, I have to break it down in chunks. I'm going to do 4 of these, whatever. And even that, it's hard for me. Like, I almost need to stand up and read it like while I'm pacing. One of the things I wanted to go back to that outside distractions, if you're somebody that walks in a crowd, and I just want to tell you all, this is not meant to diagnose anybody. I'm just telling you out of my experience what I noticed, okay? Yeah, it is. It is. Studying for things is really painful unless you really want to do it. But like, so if I go into a bar room where there's lots of people around, or if there's lots of talking around me in a room full of people, I cannot stay focused. I am like, and let's say you're engaging me in conversation. Small talk, horrible. I'm horrible at small talk. I don't even like small talk. That's terrible to say. But like, some random lady comes up to you and they're like, hi, how's the weather? Blah, blah, blah. If it don't have like something pertinent to me, I will be nice and cordial, but I'm telling you in my mind, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do next week. I am totally, please don't ask me a question if I'm not interested, because I might not, I don't know. Like my mind goes off into one of those computers in my head. So, and lots of loud noise, like lots of people around. I get super distracted. You may be talking to me and there might be a noise over here and I'll look at something over here because that man is cutting the cheese and wow, and you're still talking to me. Wow, he really should use a butter knife on that. And I'm saying, I don't know. I'm over here looking at the man with the cheese putting his fingers in it. I don't, Number 4, how often do you have trouble listening to someone even when they're speaking directly to you? That's me. Like your mind is somewhere else. Number 5, how often do you have difficulty in organizing an activity or a task needing to get done? Poor management. Fails to meet deadlines. That's me. Totally forget. I will sit down in the morning and read my calendar. I have to read it multiple times a day. You know why? Because even though I read it at 9 o'clock, I will totally have forgotten because I'm so immersed in something that I'm doing. It'll be 10:54 and I'll completely forget that I was supposed to be at the school at 11 o'clock for something important for the kids kids, you know, something for them. Like I have to tell myself over and over, don't forget, set a timer, set an Alexa timer, look at my calendar again in an hour, look at it again in another hour, because I will get totally engrossed in what I'm doing and completely forget. Short-term memory difficulties is really common in people that have issues with ADHD. How often do you fail to give close attention to details or make careless mistakes? That for me, it depends. Not really, because I can get kind of a little OCD about getting things done once I start it. So you may not be dead on these things, but it just depends. So I want to talk about how this affects my personal life and how it affects my husband. Like I said, him talking to me, and he'll say, don't you remember I told you? Nope, I don't remember. Because I wasn't in the conversation. I thought, you know, I was acting like I was, but my brain was somewhere else thinking about what I have to do tomorrow. So that would be frustrating for him. Missing small details, feeling bad about missing doctor's appointments for my kids and having to reschedule and making excuses about it. Knowing that I have somewhere to go and remembering 8 minutes before and then having to rush there because I wasn't remembering in the 30 minutes before. Swearing to God that I had Alzheimer's. Because my short-term memory is so bad, okay? Let me think. Just disorganization. The thing about people with ADHD is they're extremely creative. People call it attention deficit, you know, like it's a deficit. I really think it's a gifting because I'm saying hi to all of you all that are jumping on. It's so good to see you today. I don't feel as it's a deficit if you can focus, if you can do the behavior modifications and or take medication or do natural things to help you focus that energy. Because I'm someone that people can come to and need solutions, and I am totally creative. My mind is like, oh, you could do this or that. I'm always coming up with these great creative ideas. The problem that you'll get with me where I lose attention in it and focus in it is, for example, you'll see me do all these great YouTube videos about this new way we're going to organize something. 100%, I will fall off the map in 5 days. We're not doing it anymore because I've lost interest in it, and so I'm not making sure the kids put their shoes there. Or me, I make this great, creative, beautiful way to do it, and I didn't put the papers back. They're notorious to be junky or piles and stacks of things. The only reason why I don't have cluttery stacks is because my mom did. And so things might be messy for me, but they have a place. I usually don't have lots of junk because my mom had functional piles. She also had ADHD, undiagnosed. But so for me, that's a trigger for me. But my house will get messy for me in an hour, 2 hours, just because I'm calling it multitasking, but I'm not focused. I'll take things out, start a project, go do something over here, say I'm finishing that, go do something else, then all of those things are out. So I'm notorious for that, and that's very common with someone with ADHD, having a messy desk, being real bad at organization. Yeah, you too, see? Yeah, and I'm really good. Like you guys, I can do it. I can be creative, and it'll be beautiful, and you'll think, she's fantastic. Nope, because in a half an hour, I'm going to answer a phone call. I'm going to let the dogs out, give one of them a bath because they did something, take all those papers out, leave them out, it's just a mess. So I really have to, the way that I have been able to deal with it is the first one I got on medication. I got off the Lexapro because that was making it way worse. I was so flat and so unmotivated. People with ADHD have a problem with executive functioning, and what that means is, like, we can come up with the ideas but then get stuck with execution. So it's like, I'm going to do such and such today and then kind of not quite get to it or kind of half get to it. Hard to organize your work method or your work ethic. Hey lady, how are you? Yes, you do make things beautiful. Anyways, I don't know what I was saying. See, totally lost train of thought. So let me get to, because we're going on long. It's 20 minutes. I want to tell you how I dealt with it. So like I was just telling you, I got on medication. I got on a long-acting medication. I don't want to mention medication names only because I really want people to see their practitioner and don't ask for something in specifics. It was night and day game changer. I did do, everybody's going to say, why don't you try this supplement? It's about gut health. Oh, you guys have done all that. I took Plexus. I took all of it. I took my essential oils. I do recommend all of those things. They do enhance, but it wasn't enough for me. So for someone who is really struggling and natural things haven't worked, I recommend that you look into medication because it was a game changer. She said that is such my son in school. We've talked about that. Yeah, with his teachers. Yeah. It was a game changer because I literally can stay focused in conversations more than I normally have. One of the reasons why I'm struggling right now is because I took my medication late. It takes 30 minutes to an hour for it to work, and I took it about 30 minutes ago. But when it gets going, it's like a light switch in my head, you guys. It's like all that fog, because what happens is the signals can't go past the neurotransmitters in a certain way. And I'm explaining it in layman's terms, but it's like you have all of these messages in there, but the stimulant from medications, just like when I drink coffee, kind of help those messages go to where they're supposed to go, and it gets less cloudy. And so things get more organized, and I'm able to focus. And I'm able to say, I'm cleaning the bathroom now. I'm not leaving from here, or I'm not going to organize this drawer and not clean the bathroom. This is what we're doing. The other ways that I've had to do it is behavior modifications outside of the medicine, where I have to tell myself, this is what you're doing. I have to time block my time out. I need to write out doing this by such and such time, or set timers for myself. I'm not doing anything for 15 minutes but this. Hey, hi, for all of you who are just joining. I'm just going to do this for 15 minutes. Or if you, like I said, I have to check my calendar multiple times a day, or set reminders for myself. But like I said, the medication for me, I know they have that film on Netflix that says take your pills, and it's all negative. For some people, you guys, it's like necessity, and it really is for me. And this is how you'll know the difference between someone who has ADHD or needs the medication. When I went into the doctor's office to take this diagnostic, he said, what happens when you drink coffee? And I said, I feel calm. And he says, well, what do you mean by that? And I said, I just feel more organized, and it kind of, like, some people drink coffee and they feel hyper. Literally for me, it was like, shh. It was a total, I felt calm. I don't know how to explain it. I literally can drink a cup of coffee and go to sleep. Now, I may wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning just because it'll disrupt my sleep, but it calms me down to sleep. And that is the same thing that happens when people are ADHD. They take a stimulant. They don't feel like you think, like hyperactive and whatever. It allows them to have the focus and to that executive functioning, those neurotransmitters, to get to where they're supposed to, so that the executive functioning kicks in, okay? So anyways, so that's one, behavior modification, seeing somebody, seeing your practitioner, going ahead and getting a diagnostic tool for that. And then, making sure the behavior modification is a big thing, because the medications don't work 100% for me. I still, because I've had so many years of disorganized thinking, it's still a lot of habitual retraining, and I'm still working on it every day. So I just recommend that you go see someone if you're having it and you feel like I've done all the natural things. Now, as far as natural things that help, omega-3s, taking omega-3s. I could talk about essential oils for hours on that. I do use those on the days. I don't take medications a lot of times on the weekends, or Monday through Friday I usually take it, but on the weekends, and so I'll need something those days. But I'll talk about that on my other channel. I don't want to do that here in context of this. But anyways, but there's lots of oils that you can use, try to use for focus. The problem I had with those is it's a reapplication. It's not that they don't work, but it's every couple hours I had to reapply it, or every hour or so. And I needed a sustained work time where I was really getting things done. But I said omega-3s, gut health is really important. Taking something that is a great probiotic, good quality. There's lots of companies out there where, people will try to say that it's all about gut health. It wasn't all about gut health for me, but that does contribute to a lot of, it does help is what I'm saying. So if you're trying to try natural things, whole wood oil is very good. I'll just say a couple of them because I can't help myself. Vetiver is like the gold standard if you want to try something. If you want to talk to me about more natural things, message me here or on Aromatherapy RN, or you can make an appointment for a consult with me since I'm an aromatherapist. I have a link in my on my cloud. But anyways, let me just tell you all real quick before I jump off of here. If you want to take a diagnostic tool or see a video, I will put a link in. I already have one for a very funny, it's a very funny video on YouTube. And you can watch that. It's pretty humorous, but it's pretty spot on for several characteristics of someone with ADHD if you want to watch that. He also, though, gives really good information and good links. So if you want to take a diagnostic tool, you can go in his videos. Another one of my favorites to follow is How to ADHD. She is also on YouTube, and she does interviews, and she is fantastic. And they have different forums and different groups you can join with her, so you can follow her. I also put a link in my link tree for her, and I will add another link for just a diagnostic tool. Please know that you still need to see a practitioner and all of that. But, you know, it was really good for me because when I first took it, I was like, kind of like, oh my God, this is me. And the issue with people with, I'd always kind of been misdiagnosed, just saying, oh, you've got anxiety. It turns out that this medication 100% helped with anxiety. I still feel some anxiety, but I don't get trapped in my anxiousness. Like, what am I going to do? And then I don't act on it. It helps me to execute things. And he told me that. He said, some people, this is the ticket for anxiety. Like I said, I still feel a hum of anxiety, but I can work through it. I'm not stuck in my thoughts like, how am I going to do it? When am I going to do it? I was very classic me to come up with these great plans, but then not being able to do it or to complete it or to keep doing it. So does anybody have any questions for me at all? Let's see. The other thing I want to mention is diet is really important. Sugars are crap for us. You know, so eliminating a lot of processed sugar, seeing if you have a food intolerance, especially that's real important for children. Some people do better on like almost a keto diet, especially children who have attention issues. It's just really good for brain health. Or eating, you know, different carbs, like not a lot of white flours and white sugars where they're having really good solid carbs and quinoa and, you know, the whole thing. But I know that good quality fats are very good for brain health. And omega-3s, we don't give omega-3s enough importance in our diet. And you guys, that's a really big one. That for me is a big one. Vitamin D is a big one. Staying up on my B vitamins is a big one. And then, like I said, I had to take medication. I couldn't just do something natural. What is your diagnosis? All that you described me. So my diagnosis was ADHD. And I am a combo, so I'm kind of in tune and hyperactive. How do you know what's normal and what's not? How do you know what's normal and what's not? Meaning, ask me, clarify that for me. Like in terms of what? Anybody else have any questions about it? You know, like I said, the biggest thing for me is just staying on task when I'm doing something. I can totally clean the house. In 2 hours, it'll just be like a bomb went off. Or, you know, not being able to follow train of thought from one thing to the next and forgetting what was it I was just doing it. Let me tell you when I really started getting scared as a nurse. I am very good, and this is the one thing, people with ADHD are very good in crisis modes. They're very good. They're really, you'll find them, they're very good they're entrepreneurs because we tend to have a lot of creative talents in a lot of different areas. It's just narrowing down which ones to do and which ones not to do. We overextend ourselves. Oh, I can do that. Can't really do it. They're very good entrepreneurs. They're very good creative people, very good at the arts, very good at coming up with great plans. You know, I'm going to have this program that's going to do this, and that. And they're very good at coming up with all of these great plans. They were the colonists. They were, you know, whatever. But the problem with us is we get bored. Okay, I'm done with that. You know, moving on. I want to do something else. How do you know what's the focus or not? How do you know when the focus or not? Meaning the lack of is not normal. because for me, I just couldn't, I can't focus on much of anything unless I'm really hyper-focused, which is, so I don't know if I'm answering your question. Yeah, it's unless I'm really hyper-focused, like I'm really interested in it, then we can hyper-focus and we can work. Like, for example, me decorating a room, you guys, I can work like I have a transition in my butt. I will decorate a room from front to back. I mean, so much so, I don't even know what the kids are having for dinner because I'm just hammering this on and I'm doing all these things and want to get the projects done and I really want to complete it from A to Z because I'm really interested in it. But if it's something that I've created and it's a program that's ongoing and something that I have to do for a long period of time, I'll totally lose interest in that. Because the creative portion of it is done and now it's just executing the mundane day-to-day stuff. So anyway, so yeah, so you go to my links. If you have any questions or you want any help with natural stuff or you want your own custom blend for essential oils, you can also set an appointment up with me for a consult on my practices is on Better Practice, and I have a link for that in my profile. So I hope I answered all your questions. I'm sure when I hang up from this, I'm going to think of something else that I would like to talk about. But if I do, we'll do another one later on. But I hope that helps you. My family's life is immensely better when I take my medication, you guys. So if you feel that there's issues with bad focus and short-term memory and all that stuff, please see someone. It's made a world of difference of what I can get done in a day. So this is the one last thing I'm going to say. One of the huge characteristics is we always say we're busy. I'm so busy. I always felt overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. And I often do get overwhelmed just because my brain is in so many different places and doing so many things. I always was like always busy but never getting anything done. That is a huge characteristic of it. Always saying I'm so busy and I just, I've got so many irons in the fire. That was me. Just never getting anything completed. So, all right, you guys, I hope I answered all of your questions. And if you have any other questions, you can also drop comments, send me a thing or drop comments on the post that I did about coming on today, and I'll be happy to answer those. So you guys have a blessed day. Bye.